welcome back to the channel. I'm Archlord Dirk, and today we have a little treat. We're doing a pre-alpha demo. It is called Bunderkin, the Ocular Eclipse. This game came to my attention through YouTuber Danny Motta. If you don't know him, he's a sort of mid-tier YouTuber, does sort of reaction videos to anime and other cartoons and older Disney movies and things like that. You know what, quick correction. I said mid-tier. I don't mean that his content is mid. I simply mean that he's sort of, when it comes to subscribers, in the mid-range. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive in to Bunderkin, the Ocular Eclipse, and see what this pre-alpha has to offer. Now, one of the things I'll note about this game is that Danny mentioned that it plays, or that it was like a combination of Metal Gear Solid with Gravity Falls. So if those two things interest you, or either of those things interest you, then this could be something that would catch your attention. However, I think there needs to be maybe a bit of a caveat there. It is definitely a game that does not play like Metal Gear Solid V or 5. You can argue in the comments about the name, but it definitely plays more akin to maybe Metal Gear Solid, the original. But I think a more fair comparison is actually going to be, like my title card suggests, Sly Cooper and The Legend of Zelda's Majora's Mask. And as we get into the game, you're going to see why here in just a second. As you can see, this demo was built by 10 people. There's definitely some rough edges for sure, but if you're interested in this game, you can find it on Kickstarter. As we get into the game here, it actually looks really good. There's a very sort of cartoonish art style, and right off the bat you're going to hear Danny Motta's voice coming in, and you 100% will recognize it if you've watched any of his content before.
I'm just that kind of rascal.
You know, I'm not sure what I expected from the voice acting, but it wasn't necessarily just a high-pitched Danny Motta, that is for sure. Not that it's bad, it's just definitely not what I was kind of expecting. As we get into the game here a little bit, this initial section has tons of voice acted stuff, and in fact we're going to run into a character here who's going to be chatting with us and kind of giving us a little bit of our Destiny lore drop here. But what I find interesting is all of this is voice acted, but as we get a little deeper into the game, and you kind of talk with a lot of the townsfolk, it is not voice acted. So I'm wondering if that is just because it's the alpha, they're trying to get out a demo for people to play and kind of build hype around this game, or if that is an intentional choice, sort of going the route of like something like Banjo-Kazooie, or you know, even The Legend of Zelda, where characters are not actually always voiced. You know, you have a main character voice, you have some big characters who are voiced, who might play a significant role, but everybody else is just, you know, text read aloud. And if you watched my last video on Esoteric Ebb, you know, a lot of reading in that game, it's not necessarily a bad thing to have a lot of, you know, stuff that you're reading.
I am Pizzazz! I am the night sky. I am the night's eye. I am the moonbeam, an emanation of illumination. That is, I am a type of radiant radiation. Of the lunar variety.
More like lunatic variety.
Shh. Watch closely. This part is beautiful. Behold! The chaos of the Can you feel it? Take a moment and really feel it. Its delicious terrifyingness. Yes! A symphony of light and shadow. Hearken to the whisper of your destiny.
I don't hear anything.
Oh, it's a metaphorical whisper. Tonight, my little Bunder Dragon, you will wear many faces. You will walk with the wind. You will banish the innocent to the night sky. And You will chase a shadow.
Sounds like I'll be busy. Listen, pizzazz. What's with the music up ahead?
Did I not mention the Eclipse Festival? I could have sworn I mentioned the Eclipse Festival.
A festival?
Yes, yes, yes. There will be a feast, games, costumes. Kind of a big deal. Except some masked kids already started some trouble by launching fireworks prematurely.
I thought I saw fireworks. That's why I ran over here.
Look, kid, I just laid out your night's destiny. I hope you paid attention.
All right. Yeah, thanks.
Mock me while you can. The oculi await.
That was the most bizarre thing to ever happen.
So you can tell right away, the writing in this is kind of lighthearted, fun. It's, a little bit goofy. You've got an inventory here. Now, this is where you're going to be able to contain your slingshot and some other weapons. You've got a quest manual. There's another tab page that allows you to pick your masks. There are multiple masks in this game, which is one of the reasons I suggest that this game has some similarities to Majora's Mask, which I find very kind of exciting, actually. It's a game that doesn't maybe get as much praise as some of its siblings, as far as The Legend of Zelda is concerned. And there, as you see, we collect this basic ammo. You can very much feel the Legend of Zelda inspiration. Now, moving forward a bit, the encampment. Once again, sort of, I feel the encampment is really drawing in some of that Legend of Zelda inspiration.
Lanterns? Music? Food? Fireworks? This could be awesome!
A doomsayer. And you can see, again, there's no voice acting here. It's just written dialogue, which, again, not a big deal, but just an interesting note. So it'll be interesting to see as this game progresses what that's looking like. Now, as we kind of move forward, we get thrown out of the town, and this is where we get into our first little bit of a section where we see the Sly Cooper inspiration. We're going to crawl into this maze here, and reminds me very much of the first section of Ocarina of Time, actually, to continue the Zelda comparison, where you crawl through that bit and then you're able to find your sword. Shift activates your stealth mode and allows you to sneak through this maze. This initial section is pretty easy to get through. You're trying to get to this mask salesman. He's definitely much creepier than the Happy Mask salesman from Majora's Mask, but they have things in common for sure. So here's the important distinction and why I say this game is definitely more like Sly Cooper than it is Metal Gear. The cone of vision these guys have is their light in front of them. Anyone who's played the Sly Cooper trilogy will remember that you can get detected by enemies if you get into their sort of cone of light that they have as they're walking around. Now in Sly Cooper, oftentimes, most of the time, not always, but during certain sections, getting caught by an enemy is not an instant fail state, I guess you could say. In this game, it's not an instant fail state either. It just takes you back to kind of the beginning section of the maze, or like a checkpoint if you've reached that. But there is no combat. There's no really way to fight your way through the odds or through the guards. And so I think that's an important distinction to make here. That being said, this is just the early demo. That may change in later sections. As far as this first initial maze is concerned, there's really no options other than the stealth. You don't have anything else at your disposal. And you'll probably see, as the gameplay goes on, me get caught out a couple of times. Now here, you'll see I'm peeking out from behind this box. There's actually a little system here. If you move the mouse, I was still kind of learning the gameplay, didn't quite know this yet, but you have an opportunity to move the mouse towards, and it will adjust the direction of that arrow toward one of these boxes, and then from there you can right-click mouse, and you will have your character, the Bunder Dragon, roll to that next cover spot. So it has some pretty cool kind of stealth movement mechanics that really are intended to give you an advantage as you're sneaking through these areas. And I imagine that sneaking is going to be big. See there, the cone of light hit me as I was peeking out, and it starts me back at the beginning of the section there. Now, I didn't have to go all the way back, but I went back far enough. It's like I went, just back to the beginning of this area here. So there, I've kind of made it successfully through the maze, and I continue on my way. Here I meet Mabu, the happy mask salesman, if you will, and he doesn't offer me a mask initially. I have to go and build my own mask, because he's decided that he has a mask-based economy that will allow him to only give you a mask if you trade masks. So the next quest is kind of going about and building your own mask, and then you do end up with a quiz, and he gives you a mask. Now, I didn't double, triple, quadruple check, but I'm guessing based on how you answer the questions, it will give you a different mask depending on. But the mask I got was pretty cool looking and kind of unique. And then, as I said, you'll see a screen here that does showcase all of the other screens you have at your disposal, or all the other masks you have at your disposal, rather. There, you'll be able to equip the mask, and then you can raise it up or lower it down. And people interact with you in a different way depending on what mask you have on, and depending on if you have the mask on or not. Most people in this game, not a fan of the Bunder Dragon, BD. He seems to be a real mischievous lot, and a lot of people do not like him. So they are constantly trying to, put him down and kick him out of places. They don't want him around. He's, bad luck or what might have you. But this game shows, I think, a lot of promise. It has a lot of really cool, fun sections. It's got, it definitely has the bones of something like Sly Cooper and some Legend of Zelda mixed in there for good measure. And so with that, right off the bat, if you're at all interested in this game, free demo on Steam, download the demo and check it out. It is a good game, and then if you're in a financial position to float these guys a few bucks, jump over to Kickstarter and float them a couple of bucks. I think it's cool to see, a YouTuber having an opportunity to do some voice acting in a game, and I do think that they've got something really cool here that, I'm excited to see develop, and we will see this for sure more on the channel as it evolves. As always, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and of course like the video, because that always helps out. Have a great day.